April Fool's, bitch. I was planning on doing this shit all along. What up, y'all? Rap Critic here. And so apparently I got to review some TikTok song from 10 years ago that recently got popular. And, I'm kind of getting sick and tired of this shit. Like, no, there's nothing wrong with stuff getting popular on social media, but every time it's so clear that no one's actually listening to these as full songs. They're just lame 30-second gimmick novelty records that are barely worth their salt beyond the meme. And most of the time, they're not even that fucking funny. Like, what's the gimmick for this one?
Oh my God! I can't believe this!
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble too. Okay, where did this guy come from? Who is this guy? I mean, the yell, the hokey stock sound effect turned into a beat, and why does that one synth line sound so goddamn weird and spiky? It's like an evil killer whale singing its own villain music. For real, who is this goofball, and why does he look so familiar? Hey, did anyone else just hear that music cue? Oh no, what's happening with the footage? No, please, not a YouTube skit interrupting the fucking review. God damn it, I hate this fucking theater kid bullshit. Well, what is this phone call? Some alternate version of me and I'm getting back to the future?
Excuse me. That's right, asshole. You're officially getting better which is what we call getting back to the future in the future. Okay, so this is your future self, and yes, I sound like a knockoff blend of two voices that you like doing, but never mind that, see, because I ripped a hole in fabric in space and time, Rap Critic, to make this multiverse phone that can access different versions of you, for nebulous reasons that I'll reveal later. But till then, this is a phone that can access the younger version of you that made this song in an alternate
Okay, that's nice. Well, let's get back to the review. I'm not here for this low-concept YouTube lore shit. Ooh, because it's an alternate universe version of me, I'm supposed to react differently to it or something. I don't give a shit. But for real, to be honest, I'm down to give the song a chance, and I can tell there's some indie production going on with this joint, so I don't want to be too harsh, but man, it just so much needs to be worked on from a music perspective. Like, okay, fine, just give it some praise. Maybe it's a little catchy. The sample you could say is used kind of clever. But whatever, nigga. What I'm focused on is how try-hard he's being with these bars.
Once again, this crap keeps happening. Feeling like I took 4 shots to the abdomen.
Like, it's one of those things where you can tell they're going out of their way to over-lyricalize things by phrasing it in a way people don't normally do, so it comes out kind of awkward. Like, no one really says crap in that context, unless they're trying to make music their mom could also listen to, but you can tell he also did it to just have that little mini internal rhyme with that first syllable of happening, you know what I mean? And feeling like I took 4 shots to the abdomen, like, why 4? You can tell he's like throwing more words in there to fill out the flow, you know what I mean?
So here I am again, screaming like a whiny brat, cause I had the nerve to think someone could like me back.
But okay, here we get to the meat of what the song's about, unrequited love. Specifically the type where this guy's been pining after different girls for years without anyone ever liking them back.
With each new endeavor, I think this is where the change starts, and this time will be an exception to my track record.
And I get all that, but man, the awkward wording just keeps taking me out of it.
But maybe I should have hired a fact checker to tell me, hey, need I remind you, you thought the same thing every other time too. And when I go through this, the pain within me rages to the point where all I can say is,
when I go through this, the pain within me rages. Like, oh, yeah, could you have worded that a little more melodramatically? I don't think people got the emotional angle you were going for just yet. Yeah, my main problem is just the wordiness of it. You can tell certain rhymes are there just for the sake of forcing a multisyllabic flow instead of trying to make it sound organic.
And when love rolls over me like a vicious tank, I feel this like the victim of a malicious prank.
Like, is the tank really vicious? Is that a word people use to describe tanks? Like, no, he put that in there to rhyme it with malicious in the next line. And again, I get being frustrated with not finding love, but wow, does it veer into some strange territory.
It's the same old music. See, what you did was confuse a nice guy for a eunuch.
Oh, okay. I think I might actually need to call this guy.
Why do you give the best of yourself to the worst of us? Is a guy being a complete joker plus?
All right, let me give him a ring real quick. Because once we're spouting the women only like assholes talking point, we're usually on a pretty distinct pathway here.
Oh, hey, is this the guy who sent me that future phone thing?
Well, yes and no, but we don't have time for that. Point being, I wanted to pull your ear about that new Oh My God joint you just made.
Oh, cool. Wait, does it get, like, really popular in the future or something?
Something like that. But for my show in particular, I wanted to start off by asking, well, first of all, what the fuck is up with this production, man? It sounds like carnival music written by a coke addict.
Yeah, I know it's kind of weird.
Kinda?
But, I was purposely trying to go for that, melodramatic, over-the-top sound. I have to admit the mix is a bit muddy, and while I certainly was working with some ideas I thought I could capture the sound I was going for, I was ultimately more focused on the lyrics than the musicality, and, maybe that caused a certain elements of it to not really come through the way I wanted. I took it to a producer.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, a film student, audio guy, anyways.
Wait, you took your weird-sounding experimental rap song to a film student to mix?
Yeah, I know. It's not his expertise. I threw him a curveball of a mixing job there because, the instruments that I use are kind of low, and my voice is typically kind of low, despite the pubescent whine I'm currently putting on, to have a contrast to your voice in this video, but clearly as a reference to a popular sci-fi character, but, hopefully a little less grating so I could maintain it for a whole episode, but also so people will want to keep listening.
Yeah, you gotta be meta by commenting on the thing.
But back to my point, the track's got other strong, low instruments crashing against my low vocals, coming to him with an unbalanced, jumbled mix. It just gave the guy a conundrum to untangle, and I don't know, I think the guy did the best job he could.
He's got an excuse for everything, don't he, folks?
Hey!
Well, moving on, I wanted to ask specifically, what inspired you to write this song?
Whoa, did someone just ask a music student about their art project? Hell yeah, I'll tell you all about it. Okay, so check this out, right? So the album it's from is called Rappersliebe, right? Which means rapper's love in German, because I based it off of something called Dichterliebe, which means a poet's love, by this romantic age composer named Schubert. See, what was cool to me was that Dichterliebe was what they called back then a song cycle, which essentially just meant a collection of poems set to music around a particular story or idea. It's basically today what we call a concept album. It's something where every track relates back to a connected theme. And well, Dichterliebe was from the Romantic era, so of course it's about this melodramatic guy who falls in love with a woman who's already engaged to be married, so he frustrates himself into a rage, and by the end he metaphorically throws his love for her into a deep nearby river, but it may have also been, literally throwing himself into a river. The point is, it's some sad boy hour shit. And I got inspired to modernize it after diving into the poetry and really comprehending how it wasn't just pretty words, but trying to relate a human story of experiencing unrequited love and how the heartache...
Yeah, all right, let's cut the history lesson. Well, let's talk about the nice guy shit in the verses. What's up with that? Talk about that.
See, what you did was confuse a nice guy for a eunuch.
Oh yeah, definitely. I worded it that way for a reason. I wanted the character in the song using specific phrases to cue you into that kind of person. But despite the over-the-topness, I also wanted to try to give a genuine account of that emotional experience for how guys fall down those rabbit holes.
Okay, but you definitely sound a little convincing, if you know what I mean.
Okay, look, I'll be honest, man. I'm not even 21 yet. I'm definitely awkward about talking to girls about how I feel about them because, can we just break the fourth wall here and just say, isn't it hard in general to tell someone how you feel about them? Like, as much as we want to dump on guys who become misogynistic, they don't just start that way, right? Don't they start just like everyone else, where we're all young and inexperienced on how to talk to the person you're attracted to? So, you just try to talk to people that you like and be yourself. But when it never leads to a relationship with anyone you're interested in, well, don't you start to, of course, feel like you're not attractive? Because you don't have any evidence to believe the opposite, right? So you feel insecure about it, and you kind of hope there was something you could do or say to get the person that you like interested in you when you don't know if they'll like you back. So with this album, I wanted to have it set up that he specifically isn't the type of guy who reads game books or acts fake to attract the type of person that he thinks somebody wants, but it just hasn't happened for him yet.
He's a normal guy, but he's never been in love.
Okay, but when we get to that third verse, it gets a little,
And you should know that it's difficult to change a man whose attraction to you is only physical, and it's pitiful to give something special to someone worthless. Why do I meet so many girls who make this the purpose?
I mean, that's a pretty charged language, saying that so many girls like guys that are bad for them,
Oh yeah, for sure, but, I brought it to that point so I could do the realization flip he has near the end.
When will you see that this path will always lead to rejection? But I guess I could ask myself the same question. I mean, we're both on a similar mission, chasing after something that will never come to fruition.
Okay, but you still wrote it like a college kid trying to flesh out their word count for an essay.
That may be so. I currently am a college kid, but the point I wanted to get to was, when guys like this get rejected, they do often notice that the girls they like will sometimes end up with guys who sometimes aren't great for them. And that's what prompts these types of guys to feel like, well, but I'm so much better if she could just see. So I put it in my narrative to have the character almost make that parallel connection, She wants this guy to be with her on a certain level, and that guy's not right for her because he's not really interested in the relationship that she wants. But pretty much in the exact same way that the main character likes this girl, but he also can't be right for her because she's not really interested in the relationship that he wants.
But instead of actually internalizing that lesson, he still falls into the, but at least I was a nice guy thing though, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Can't have the asshole actually learn his lesson, right? That's no fun.
But his was different. She had someone nice to fall back on, and I didn't. And that's how it always ends. Because I'm just a really good friend. Oh my God.
Well, couldn't someone see that as ultimately validating his perspective by ending on the woe is me pity party thing?
Maybe that's a good point. Maybe the song works a little better in context of the rest of the album, where when you get to the end, the character metaphorically throws himself into the river, or maybe he literally does because art, and it ends with the final chorus that scolds him for doing what he did.
You never knew if it was because of you. Well, now you know. Now you don't ever have to feel pain. Now you don't ever have to feel love.
So the story ultimately ends with the narrative coming down on the character for cutting people off like that. Because, look, man, I may not know what does make people like you, but when you let the rejection from people you weren't meant to be with anyway affect you so much it makes you a callous person, well, that would only become like a self-fulfilling prophecy that makes you into the person that people shouldn't want to be with down the line anyways, right?
Well, I don't buy it, but whatever, it's your music.
Hey, look, I only had so much time to craft a but-so-cohesive narrative with songs.
Yo, we'll plan your scheduling better next time.
I could do
Anyways,
that.
overall, I give this like a 3 out of 5. The production, though a bit rough around the edges, has an unpolished spikiness to it that I could see being appealing to some people, and how it's trying to emulate that explosion of complicated feelings when you're young and trying to get through a crush that doesn't feel the same way about you, but the mix just ultimately feels cluttered. And lyrically, I'll give it a few points for earnestness, but it's still some pretentious art school rap shit, and I think the overwriting of parts contributes to the muddling of the message, because, that part, we're both on a similar mission, just say we're both doing the same thing, stuff like that. And it's not even that you can't use big words, but they have to sound natural in the flow of how someone would actually talk, so it doesn't sound forced for its own sake. And while it tries to tackle that bitterness that can come up from repeated rejection, I think the execution could have used more focus in its intention. It starts with trying to explore those feelings without diving into misogyny, but I feel like the clarity of the message can easily get lost in translation with how it ultimately comes out. If I'm being honest, it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's potential here, and I think it's a genuinely cool idea for a song, but it's buried underneath layers of muddled production and unclear messaging. That said, I do like it when art isn't necessarily perfect people always doing the right thing. I like it when it sometimes gets messy in order to explore those negative facets of the human experience. And I think it's even better when it's done with a bit of self-awareness that prompts folks to examine the biases that lead people down the roads that the character you're following in a piece of art is taken. But it's a hard tightrope to walk, and not every time does everything stick the landing, but in my opinion, I think he did about as well as he could have done with the tools, time, and knowledge he had by about 21. And hey, even if it doesn't always come out perfect, when you really want to get your art out there, sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches, even if those punches are self-inflicted. Yeah?
Hey, younger version of you again. Just a quick question. Since you're like future me, and I, still don't have the answer about what to do about liking girls and talking to them, could you maybe give me some practical advice?
Okay. Here's the high school level Sesame Street lesson for the YouTube video essay wrap up. Look, the truth of the matter is, there's no perfect formula to get someone to like you, just like there's no perfect formula that would make you like someone if you're not already attracted to them. Now, because of the perspective of how you're experiencing all your crushes, it makes it seem like girls don't like you, but the truth is, it's not a general idea of girls that you want to date, it's someone who specifically gets you as a person. And when you find them, it'll be worth getting through all the people who weren't actually good for you, just attractive to you. And the way you get to that person or those people is to invest in the things you enjoy doing in your life, find where those things take you, and along the way, present yourself as friendly and as cool as possible. In appearance, like dressing well, sure, but equally in how you talk to folks, and not pushing anything beyond the genuine connections you have with people. And as time goes on, I guarantee you, the people who dig what you have to offer will come out of the woodwork, and all along, you'll have been keeping company with a friendly, cool mofo who's driven by his passions, and is only keeping company with people who are as invested in him as he is in them.
Wow, that actually feels kind of helpful.
Or you could just get really rich, just amass a whole bunch of wealth, then people will definitely say they love you.
Oh, well, that sounds kind of hard and not worth it if I'm trying to find actual love.
Well, try the first thing then, all right? Good talk. Anyways, I'm the Rap Critic, so send me your stuff to critique and pull apart, or send me a request for a mainstream rap song, or send me another Masta Artisan request. I don't care, I'll do it again.
And you want to know why? Because I like the criticism.
I like the honesty which makes man strive for improvement. And most of all, I like that my music has impressed upon people's brains as other people's music has impressed upon mine. I like this world. Anyways, till next time, I'm the Rap Critic. You don't have to like my opinion, but for my average shit, it's still better than 95% of your mainstream shit anyways. Yeah, I fucking said it. Come at me, bro.